Hi, my name is Charles Malky, biologist and plant expert with Ivory Organics, where we grow cool plants. And today we're at the home of Edgar Valdivia. He is the leading educator and promoter of dragon fruit of the modern era. And today it's all going to be about fig trees and our annual fig tree cutting giveaway. Thank you, Edgar, for having me here today.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you, and I know you are very well doing a very good job in promoting quite a few different steps in gardening, and very successful. I saw you good YouTube videos that you posted, and I hope so everybody will be able to see them, because you can learn a lot about those videos, and you will learn so much about horticulture.
Thank you so much for your support. I had so much fun when I was here just a few months ago, and you did the tour of almost 100 unique fruit trees that can grow here. And we're in the city of Simi Valley, which is the kind of like the northern part of Los Angeles County. And he's really created a food forest that only one could dream of having, but it doesn't have to be a dream. This is stuff anybody can be doing.
Yes, Simi Valley goes to extreme in winter. We go down to 28, and in summer we go up to 110. So my plants go to a lot of stress. But it's up to you. You know, if you are a good gardener, you can keep those babies growing. You have to baby your trees, and then they will be able to produce. And remember, whatever thing you grow in your backyard is no chemicals. You eat a very healthy fruit, and the taste is gorgeous compared to the fruit that you buy in the markets.
That is the goal, to grow as much food as you can. Better than organic food from the grocery store is growing the stuff you can pick and eat the same day for optimal health, optimal flavor, and just the enjoyment of growing your own stuff. It's a wonderful hobby.
And cheap hobby.
A cheap hobby. So today it's all going to be about figs, and I know behind you you've successfully grown. There's actually many varieties of figs here on the property, but what are the two that we're going to share with our viewers today?
Figs, they become very popular in maybe the last 7 years. The only fig we used to have in California was the mission fig that was brought in for the missionaries before. But now, since so many people say enjoy a fig, it's a very tasty fruit, and the only problem is that don't will last too long in the markets. So now we have quite a few different type of figs that they will tolerate time to be able to transport to the markets. And besides, you don't worry about the market, worry about eating yourself. We have such a wonderful figs that they taste so good. They are very sweet and very tasty. Figs, as you know, the figs are very good fruit to eat, and they taste so wonderful. One of those examples, and now so many people are involved in growing figs, and it become very popular. You can see a lot of figs in the markets now, but the ones that you personally grow in your backyard, you don't see those in the market because they are special figs. And I start working in figs now because it's very popular, and I have behind me a wonderful tree that has become very popular. It's called the yellow long neck. Unbelievable, such a big fig. Is the size of a pear, wow. Elongated, and the yellow, that's why it's called yellow long neck, and the taste is very sweet and produces brevas and gives you fruit up to November. Look, I live in Simi Valley where we have cold weather, and look, this tree is very healthy, and we have behind that tree, we have the brown turkey, another very good fig that is huge, but mostly they are very tasty. That's more important, the flavor of the fig. And remember this, you know, when you're eating figs, you're eating the flower, because the fruit actually, the inside of the fig is the flower. You eat the petals and the anthers and everything inside the fruit.
So I just want to share that the yellow long neck fig, which I'm touching right here behind me, you did a video several years ago on and I'm also going to promote and put the links to it, is the Edgar Valdivia YouTube channel, where your wife, Pat, actually weighed the figs. You can see the size of it and just the beauty when she opens it. And she even did a taste sampling of the yellow long neck fig. And you want to explain where you got it? Like, where was it originally sourced from?
Many years ago, I think it's almost 18 years ago, George Emmerich gave it to me. I took little plants from his original tree. He was growing in there in Fallbrook, and I brought it up here, and I don't put too much attention because it took almost 5 years to start producing fruit. Once I get the first fruit, oh my God, I said, this fruit is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I've been promoting, giving away to a lot of people. I belong to the California Rare Fruit Growers. To all of our members, always I give him free cuttings. Whoever comes in here, I give him free cuttings of the yellow long neck. And now, the yellow long neck is one of the most popular figs, and everybody wants this particular tree. And the good part of the fig is that you can grow it from cuttings. Very easy to reproduce.
Sure. So we're going to be talking about it over the course of this month, and a lot of the videos that are going to be published, I'm going to be talking about cuttings and pruning and transplanting and potting and a whole bunch of just fig specific lessons. So be sure, if you have not already, to subscribe and hit that push bell notification to stay connected to all the education that we share here on the Ivory Organics YouTube channel. And let's talk a little bit more about what's going on inside the tree. Let's come on in.
I am very glad I got this product, IB Organic, that works very good when you have a problem with sunburn. As you can see, my tree actually is winter now, don't have any leaves, so the sun actually gets to the point to damage the bark of the tree. So using the IB Organic product, we paint the tree like this, and the coating that we are applying to the branch will protect from the sun to support better the life of the bark of the tree, because remember, the bark is the protection of the tree from the nature, from the cold weather of the sun.
Yeah.
Inside we have the sap that keeps the life of the tree.
And the cambium layers, and then the underlying wood. If you take a look right now, the plant is in dormancy, and with the plant in dormancy, there's no leaves to protect the underlying skin or the bark of the tree, and you can see these cracks everywhere. And I see you've already painted with the Ivory Organics 3-in-1 plant guard. You can see all these cracks. I'm hoping the camera can hopefully capture, but you can see there's been cracks at all of the exposed surfaces of the tree trunk. On the southwest sunny side of the tree, there's basically cracks in the bark as those surfaces are exposed, and we want to protect the skin to last as long as possible so that we preserve the underlying cambium tissues and overall maintain and preserve the longevity and the health and the productivity of this tree as well. And let me share with you the can. If we take a look here, you can see we just used the Ivory Organics 3-in-1 plant guard. Protection against damaging sunburn insects and rodents, for use on your roses, fruit, nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs, and it's for use in organic production. Healthier than latex, paint, tar-based products, and you can see that's OMRI listed for organic use. So here we are now. It's the last week of January, and I know in general across Los Angeles, the last week of January is the last chance of frost. And starting February, the weather truly begins to warm up, and a lot of trees will start pushing out blooms as well as new growth, including figs. So this is an excellent time to take your cuttings and start your cuttings, and I'm going to do a lot of education on how to prepare your. Could you quickly share with us the difference in flavors between these two different figs that we're going to get? One being the, again, yellow long neck fig, and the second one is going to be a brown turkey that we're going to leave with today from your garden.
Yes, the yellow long neck is actually a very sweet, tasty fig, and big. With one fig is good enough for one person. And the brown turkey is a big fig too, but yes, has different flavor, just a little bit more acid. I prefer myself as the sweet ones because I like all the fruit. I have a sweet tooth, but there are so many different type of figs to please the taste of each individual, because we know that we have almost 300 different types of figs growing in the UC Davis.
And you'll notice as we look within the fig tree behind me, you're also going to see that there's a lot of grafts within it. So with the figs that we're going to cut today, you're going to be able to now either take those cuttings to use as cuttings and create new trees from them, or you can take these cuttings and incorporate them into already established figs on your property, so that within the footprint of one tree, as you're going to see on my property, I've got 10 flavors and 10 different varieties of figs, from green to yellow to brown to black to even that panache variegated fig. And you can see all of that on just one tree trunk that's supporting all of these different varieties through the power of grafting. It's so exciting.
That's why I recommend you to to learn how to do grafting. Grafting is so easy, it's so simple to do it. The only problem that sometimes you are afraid to do it. But don't worry, you know, if you fail, you can try it again and try it again until you will be successful. Anybody can learn to do grafting.
For
Very
sure.
easy.
I agree with you. And as you said, keep trying. So let's get to cutting some branches. How do we select one?
Well, we have in here the yellow long neck. We can cut those branches. This one example, look, we have one in here.
So that's our first cutting.
Yeah, the first cutting. And
Great.
you can cut even this one. And remember, as long as you have a bud, it's no problem at all. Example, this one it will be good for growing rooting. You know, you cut just a little bit the bark, and then you put a hormone to help growth of the roots, and try to keep it inside. And try, if you can put heat in the lower part, then the heat will promote the roots to grow more easy. Don't put too much water, because otherwise the bark will be rotten and you will lose. But it's easy to grow from cuttings. But if you don't want to do from cuttings, you can even do bud grafting. Take this little bud in here and graft it into another branch, and they will be able to do it.
So in regards to the potting soil mix that you're going to put your cuttings into, what type of mix do you recommend using between, let's say, perlite, vermiculite, peat moss, bark? Like, what would you use?
You try to use a lot of peat moss with a lot of vermiculite, because what you need is the water to go through it. You don't need too much humidity, because if you keep so much humidity, then the bark is rotten.
Humidity, the point being, just make sure it's not underwater. Make
Yes,
sure you're not
yes.
overwatering.
Correct.
Okay.
And then you will have roots growing in month and 45 days. You will have roots growing, and once you and remember, sometimes you might get full. You will see new buds start growing, showing growth, and you say, "Oh, good! You know, we have roots already." But no, remember, this little branch has a lot of energy in there. So life can grow even with no root systems, because you have energy in there that will keep the leaves growing.
That makes sense.
And then you say, "Oh, it's growing." Then you pull it out and nothing in the bottom. So
I agree with you.
be patient, take your time, and be sure that you have roots under.
I agree with you. A lot of my friends do share examples where it have leaves and a lot of growth but no roots, and other times also roots with no growth. But then you also got to be patient to wait for the growth to follow after that root development. But the goal when accomplishing your cuttings is to make sure that you see roots within the container before then transplanting it, and not to transplant it prematurely when you just see leaves but not enough roots supporting that growth.
Yes, and then too, you know, you can do air layer. There are so many ways to reproduce trees, you know, that you don't have to throw the towel. In other words, "Oh, I don't want to do it." There are so many ways, so easy ways to be able to reproduce a cutting or grow your own fig trees, you know, so simple. And remember this, figs, they become popular and they are very good for your health. Taste good, very healthy, and besides, no chemicals, remember that. It's very important, because mostly the things you're getting now, they've been grown with so many chemicals, and this can cause bad for your health. But if you grow your own fruit, you know by sure 100% that the fruit that you're eating is very healthy for you.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned air layering, and those are, now we just discussed the 3 ways of creating genetically identical, which the goal is we want yellow long neck figs with whoever gets these cuttings, and they're going to be genetically identical to the parent plant. I know you have this one here behind me, you have another one in the corner, and you got this from someone else that shared it with you. And the point is, whoever has a piece of this wood has the genetical identical twin to the parent plant from whatever that source was before it landed here on Edgar's property. As I'm going to be taking also one cutting for myself to either graft or plant another fig tree on my property, as I've just heard so many amazing great things about this yellow long neck fig that we're going to now be incorporating to our garden. The point being, there's 3 ways to create genetically identical plants aside from figs, but it's through the ways of, 1, cutting for those that are easily to create by way of cutting, such as figs. The other one, as you mentioned just now, is air layering. And the third one is grafting. As you're going to see, there's a few grafts in here. So let's keep cutting.
Okay.
So we're simply just cutting like the highest
Yeah.
branches
Yeah.
off the canopy. And the goal at the end of the day is these branches will be then lower growing and the fruit will be more so within reach because those are just too far
That's
away.
very important. You know, mostly people, they are afraid to pruning the trees.
Yeah.
The figs, they have to be cut to almost, the fruit comes in the new branches, remember always.
Yeah.
Very important to know that the fruit comes in the new branch. So pruning your fig tree, like you see this one's almost naked, but then in April you will see so many branches and so many leaves and loaded with fruit.
So the main crop, the sweetest figs will come from the new growth, which is going to happen as soon as it gets a little warmer. Between February and March, it'll start growing and those branches will then support the main crop of figs.
Correct.
But there's also a breba crop of figs. If you come in a little closer, I'm putting this in the light, you can see here in the buds are little baby figs. And these are generally inferior to the main crop of figs is the breba crop, which is the early crop, which actually is born from last year's wood. As you can see, this is the growth from 2019.
Yes.
But it's inferior generally, flavor-wise, compared to the main crop, which is sweeter.
And the breva, always remember, is big, huge tree.
Bigger figs. Bigger figs.
Yes.
That's great. Also, what percentage of your fig from year to year do you generally prune at this time of year?
How much?
5 to 10% or 50%, 70%? What percent of last year's growth do you usually bring back?
I cut almost 40%.
So about 40% of your tree.
Half is gone.
So half your tree.
And plus, besides, you know, this tree is so famous that everybody comes and takes cutting. That's why it looks almost empty.
They all want it. I see that there's a lot of cuts throughout it because, again, and actually another link I'm going to share with you is the California Rare Fruit Growers. They have meetings here throughout the year as well. And everybody knows within the organization how popular and, again, how delicious tasting, because they'll also be here in the summer eating their figs and trying to attempt cuttings or attempting grafts off of this tree. So year round, it's usually cut out by hundreds of people within within Southern California that's part of this organization. But I'm going to give you that link to CRFG.org, which is a gardening organization. I know you're one of the chairpersons, or you were. Your wife is currently still on the board as well. And it's an organization for fruit growers, enthusiasts to get together and basically share what they're growing, to share their experiences, to answer questions. And there's always a guest speaker that's a leader within the industry that'll usually come. As I think in the next week there's going to be someone from Dave Wilson Nursery that sells over 14 million fruit trees per year, is going to be also educating on typically topics such as backyard orchard culture, among many others.
And you get your best education, join to this organization. And listen, it's very cheaper to be a member. You know, it's almost 10 cents a day. So what hobby you will have for 10 cents a day, and you enjoying, you're getting free cuttings, you get free lectures, you meet a lot of people, you're enjoying the company, because those people, they have the same hobby. So join California Rare Fruit Growers.
And the annual cost, which is for me easier to understand, is somewhere between about 20 to 30 bucks. So again, a very cheap investment, and considering you'll be connected to gardens all around the world. For me, I just want to know what that dollar amount is. Well, let's start cutting.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Well, then you can have quite a few.
Off of that.
Cut the other one too, the other tall one. That one.
Right here at this joint.
Yeah. Do you see what we're trying to do? We have to try to cut all the branches. The more you cut you prune it, the more energy will go into the new growth.
For sure. Now these branches will grow more, and the more leaves that they have, the more fruit you have, and better quality fruit too. So for this year's annual fig cutting giveaway, you can get these fig cuttings that we just got. You can take a look down here on the ground. We got a ton, and this is the hard to find, as most nurseries don't sell, the yellow long neck fig variety. And then to my left here, which we're gonna bag separately and label separately, is the brown turkey fig. So, and those are quite easy to find at your local nurseries across the country. But we have these available too, and we're gonna continuously integrate more figs for more gardens over the next couple of weeks. And all of those are gonna become made available to you through ivorganics.com annual fig cutting giveaway, where you can get your hands on it simply by going to ivoryorganics.com and getting a gardening tip, and there's 10 of them. Pick your favorite gardening tip by going to ivoryorganics.com, clicking on the link that leads to the gardening lessons and gardening tips, and there you're going to find gardening tips 1 through 10. Simply pick your favorite of those 10 gardening tips, or you post all of them on your favorite social media site of preference, whether it be Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, and you can tag us and hashtag Ivory Organics so that we can find you. And every single day we're going to announce the winner through the month of February of 2020 for these cuttings that we're going to be giving away, shipping included, throughout the intercontinental USA. You can also get your hands on the fig cutting giveaways through purchasing the 6 Macros Plus fertilizers that are discounted in the month of February. For this month only, the 11 and 4 pound bag of fertilizers are going to be discounted. Specifically, you'll see here is the 6 Macros Plus Super Blend, and this here has the higher NPK of 13, 12, 13, but it also has magnesium, sulfur, and calcium, giving plants all of the 6 macronutrients, unlike all the other fertilizers you'll find on the shelf. And then there'll also be the premium blend fertilizers, 6 Macros Plus, which includes nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, and calcium, but with a lower NPK. Both of these items, these are the 11-ounce bags, are going to be discounted in the month of February, as well as the 4 pound bags that you'll also see available. With each of the bag purchases, you'll be receiving a fig cutting. With the 11-ounce bags, you'll receive 1 cutting. With the 4 pound bag, you'll be receiving 2 cuttings per purchase. And again, the discount is only running through the month of February. And again, only while the fig cuttings last, as there's a limited supply and limited quantity. If you purchase multiple bags, I'll be sure to make sure that your purchase includes a variety of figs. If you're only purchasing 1, it's going to be whatever we have the most of. So keep that in mind. And also, if you have not already, be sure to subscribe and hit that push bell notification, as the month of February is all about figs. And I'm going to be sharing in each of these videos the variety of figs that's going to be part of this annual fig cutting giveaway.
Well, thank you for you to come over, and thanks to you, you're going to promote the yellow long neck. A lot of people are going to get this. How many people will be enjoying this wonderful fig? Remember, we don't push the fig. It's up to you. If you like it, you will enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Edgar. And I did learn about the yellow long neck again, which I'm going to put the link down below to Edgar Valdivia's YouTube channel, which I also encourage all of you guys to subscribe and hit that push bell notification. And it's a great way to also reach out to Edgar. You can write in the comments, and between he and his wife, hopefully they'll be able to get back to you with any questions you may have in regards to the many rare fruit varieties that he's also growing here in the garden that we did a YouTube lesson on just a few months ago. And thank you so much for having us.
Welcome. You are welcome.
As you can see here, we've got not thousands, but definitely hundreds of cuttings that we're able to generate. And I'm hoping all of you guys participate, and we look forward to getting this to you all across America. And thank you so much for your efforts and being a part of this annual fig cutting giveaway lesson. Just one final reminder, be sure to again subscribe and hit the push bell notification on the Ivory Organics YouTube channel. And as always, we encourage you to keep growing with Ivory Organics, and wishing you all happy gardening.